Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Lamide.
The future is now. The future is now. The future is now.
So we're on season 2, episode 1 of Adulting is the Ghetto. Ratatata! Ratatata!
I'm in the ghetto. Ratatata. Ratatata.
Yes, a year on, adulting is still ghetto. I don't think it's going to change. You literally just have to embrace it, navigate it, and make it work for you. So today I'm going to be speaking about a very important topic, a fundamental I like to believe, and that is friendships and managing relationships, and essentially why you don't have friends or how you can be a better friend. So a simple disclaimer before anyone tries to come for me. Again, as always, these are my own personal opinions, and I think they're a fairly balanced opinion, but if it doesn't apply to you, take the meat and leave the bone. You don't have to take everything I have to say as Bible. Over the years, through it's either induction or deduction, but I'm not sure which one it is. I'm gonna say observation. So through my observation, I've realized that people don't really know how to be a good friend. Like, yeah, there are just so many people that I'm like, what? What? You call that person your best friend and this is what they do to you? What? The other day, I was watching Made in Chelsea, and I know it's not real. I haven't watched it in years, but I was like, oh, I'm feeling I wanna watch some Made in Chelsea. So I put it on, and the shenanigans, absolute shenanigans that was going on, and I was like, huh? These people are so catty, they're so fake, and they just don't understand the fundamentals of being a good friend. So I'm gonna share the fundamentals of being a good friend. Firstly, I believe that the only way for you to be a good friend is if you're a good friend to yourself. Treat others the way you want to be treated. If you don't have a good relationship with yourself, the way you interact with the world will reflect that, and the way you interact with other people will also reflect that. So the first way for you to be a good friend and for you to have more friends is by being a good friend to yourself. You check in on yourself, you ask yourself how you do, and you're honest with yourself. You're always looking for ways to better yourself and ultimately be the best version of yourself. And once you've mastered that, you can do that with others as well. So as a good friend, you're there to check in on your friend, to hear their problems, to be there for them, as well as telling them where they can improve, what they can be doing better, and making sure that they're the best version of themselves. So the way I see it, if I'm in someone's life, their life should be better as a result of me being there. So the same way, since it's your own life, and if you do all the necessary steps to being a good friend to yourself, your life should ultimately be better. And the point that follows on from that is you need to be patient with that friend as well, because I find that in this instant gratification generation, this microwave generation as some call it, they're very quick to cut people off, and it's very toxic. It's not healthy, it's not the way life works, it's just not reality. Like, you can't cut everybody off just because they say something you don't agree with. What? 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 Look at this guy over there, huh? You can't just have people who are yes men in your circle, who constantly agree with you in your circle, because that is not the way forward. That way you don't have any constructive criticisms. You don't have people that challenge you and force you to step up your game. When I say be patient with your friends, what I mean is that they are learning how you want to be interacted with, how you want to be loved, and they're not psychic. So you would have to some extent, teach them how that is the case. Like, I remember saying to my friends at uni that I don't like being called stupid, even if it's a joke. I don't like it because I'm not stupid. I truly believe I'm a genius. So there's certain words I wouldn't use in association with myself, because that is not the way I speak to myself. So I don't expect others to speak to me like that either. But there will be times that they might have said it, and because they're so used to saying things to other people, I can't just like flip on them. I'll be like, I told you don't speak to me like that. What you doing? Da 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 da. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, remember I don't really like people speaking to me like that, so I'd rather you not. Or there'll be other times as well that because you're in different stages of your life, your friends may be busier than you. They might not reach out as much as you like. But that doesn't mean they are a bad friend. It just means that they're going through life as well. So maybe you should reach out to them, or maybe you should just be a bit more patient and a bit more understanding and know where they're coming from. Another way for you to learn how to be a better friend and have more friends as a result is to evaluate your friendship breakups. So friendship breakups, in my humble opinion, are more, or can be more painful than like an actual relationship breakup, because I don't know, I just find that like like I don't really argue with my friends like that. Like we might have disagreements, but I don't have major blow ups with my friends, because I just like communicating with them and to be like, oh, I didn't really like when you did this, and we talk it through and then we resolve the conflict. But there are some friendships that do end, because not every friendship is for a lifetime. Some are seasonal, and that's okay. So if the friendship was to end, I think it's worth evaluating. Firstly, how did it end? Why did it end? And what part did you play into it ending? Because I feel like it's quite easy to blame the other person, but we're all grown up now, innit? So you actually have to take personal responsibility. What did you do that could have made the friendship come to an end maybe sooner than it needed to, or nastier than it needed to? Knowing what part you had to play in it helps you for the future to ensure that you don't do the same thing again. You need to learn from your mistakes. That is the only way to be a real grown up, is by learning from your mistakes, and also just knowing what part you have to play into something, taking personal responsibility, and just doing better next time, really. Another point of how you can manage relationships much better than you currently do is by managing your expectations. Don't overestimate how important you are in someone's life. I feel as if that can easily lead to disappointment, and I'm not saying I'm not like one of those people who will be like, oh, expectation leads to disappointment. I just think that's toxic. But personally, what I mean by that is that you don't want to think that you're the most important person in this person's life, and then later on you realize that your friendship was more just out of convenience, and the reason you spoke every day is because you were in the same course, or you did the same subject, or you were in the same university or sixth form or whatever, so, or you worked together, and that's the reason you spoke so frequently, not because you actually had that much in common. So I think you need to just manage expectations and know that, and just change with the times and change with the seasons. There will be some times that you may be closer to one friend in one season and then closer to another in another season. That doesn't mean that the other person is no longer your friend. It just means that your friendship might just work better at a distance at this current moment, and that's okay. I think it's worth just managing your expectations and also letting people know about your expectations when it comes to having a friendship with you, because a lot of fundamental problems that happen within friendships or just relationships in general is as a result of lack of communication. Again, no one is a mind reader. We don't know what's going on in your head unless you communicate it. So if you're then saying, oh, you need to speak to me every single day, you need to call me 3 times a day at 12, 3 and 6, but you haven't told me this. So if I now miss the 6 p.m. call, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that. You're such a bad friend. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I called you at 8 p.m. because that was the time I was free. So I think it's worth managing your expectations, but also letting people know about your expectations so they know how to be a good friend to you. So personally, one thing that I'm pretty sure all my friends are aware of is that, like, if I consider you my friend, I believe that is a safe space for me to be able to share my burdens with you, and you'll actually be able to help me work through them, not just be like, oh, I'm sure you'll be all right. Sorry. Imagine me telling you, oh my gosh, I'm really struggling with work right now. Like, it's so difficult. I really don't know what to do. I don't even know if I want to stay in my job, or whatever. Or, oh my God, like, I'm finding university so hard. I don't know if I want to quit or just drop out. And you're like, oh, come on, man up. You get through it. Come on. buckle up, the journey ahead is long, you got this. And it's like, no, that's not what I need right now. I actually need a listening ear. So I think it's worth letting people know your expectations of being friends with you as well, and make sure your expectations make sense, please. Like, if your expectations are not what you're willing to do for others, I don't think it's fair to ask that from somebody else. I think it's worth limiting the amount of people you call friends. So I love humans. Like, humans are just amazing, and I just think that, wow, like, God really did his thing when he created humans, especially me. Just kidding. So one thing I struggled with, because I really love humans, is that I thought that everybody that was cool should be my friend, and that is just not sustainable. That is not sustainable. That's not very healthy. That's quite demanding and long. Like, imagine meeting people and catching up with people every single day. Like, it really hurts your bank account. It really hurts your bank account. It's like, how many dinners or how many lunches can you actually go? Can you actually go to? How many phone calls can you actually have? Like, it's long. So I had to come to a point where I limit the amount of people I actually call my friends. And it wasn't oh my God, I don't like them, oh my God, they can't know about my life. It wasn't adapting at all. It was just more of a case that I'm very comfortable with allowing people to be my acquaintances. Like, there's no hard feelings. We can be close acquaintances, we can be really cool acquaintances, but you're not my friend. And that's okay. There's this quote that I love that says, 4 quarters are better than 100 pennies, or something like that. And it just means that 4 good quality friendships are better than 100 shallow friendships. And it's not the amount of friends you have, it's about the quality of friendships that you have. Be very mindful of that. Be very careful who you decide to call your friend. Make sure they meet the expectations that you've set, and also make sure that you're able to reciprocate the energy and meet their expectations as well. But within that, know that they are human, so they will very much disappoint you quite often. Like, you might want to speak to them, but they may be busy, or like the dynamics of the friendships have changed. You might not be as close as you once were, but that's okay. Like, you just need to be very patient with them. You need to be kind and just show compassion, really. My final point, I believe, of how to be a better friend, or just how to be a better person ultimately, is you just need to create boundaries that you can keep to. So I find that if I don't create good boundaries, it's very easy for people to take, and then I'm left with nothing. So I made a rule to myself that I'm only giving from a place of overflow. I can't give what I don't have. There's set things that I'm not willing to give for the sake of a friendship, because it's too costly to my own self. I need to make sure I have enough time for my own self. So I try not to speak to people after a certain time. I try to make sure that within the day I have time that it's just for myself. I don't need to be in communication with other people, especially now that everything is virtual. I find I'm in constant communication with people, and it's quite draining. So I just have time set for my own self to actually process my thoughts, to check in on myself and see how I'm feeling. And then when I know I'm good, I'm then able to reinsert myself back into the world and be present. I know I said a final point, but another point I think is really important in friendships is that you need to make sure that you're present. Like, you can't just give 20% in a friendship and expect that a friendship will be great. Like, that might work, but it will only work for a short period of time. Like, friendships do take work, and you need to make a conscious decision to make that friendship work. So you need to be present, you need to be there for the person, and you just need to, again, show that you care for them. So one thing I made sure that I don't do, because I find, again, I'm always on my phone or always on social media, whatever, is that if I'm with a person, I put my phone away. I'm like, I'm here, I'm present. I might not have a long time to spend with you. I might have 2 hours max or whatever, but I want to make sure I maximize the time I have with you, to make sure that I'm up to date with what's going on in your life. I'm able to speak life over you, you're able to speak life over me, but ultimately I'm just there to enjoy your presence and enjoy your friendship, really. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any other tips on how to be a better friend, or how to just stop being the common denominator to why your friendships break, put in the comments below. Let's have a conversation. I'll see you on the next one. Like, share and subscribe. Bye.